So we're going to be talking about Sargon of Akkad again, Carl Benjamin. Secular Talk was doing one of his Secular Talking Smack segments. Someone asked him through a super chat about Sargon of Akkad. Now, it's important to note that Sargon and Kyle have had like 3-4 really long conversations. One of them spanned like almost 4 hours. I watched like a good amount of it, and they seem to have pretty good discussions. Sargon seems to say things that are rational and act rational, and he claims to be from the left. He claims to be a representative of the left in many cases, and he claims to be left wing. And a point that Cult of Dusty has made is that he sits in a country where there's universal health care and all of these left-wing programs, and then says, oh, vote for Donald Trump and do dumb shit like this, because he's in the security of basically his own country where, hey, he has the NHS, he has nationalized health care, and they have less wait times than the U.S. does. So it's a joke. But we talked about Sargon's kind of literal, again, taking quotes and not out of context, of him saying that he sympathizes with the anger of the alt-right, but just says they're marketing it the wrong way and they're acting on the wrong way, when, again, I've already talked about this on multiple different occasions, and this came up as a result of the infamous Charlottesville march that happened in Virginia. And I said this, and I hear this a lot as apologetics for the alt-right. I've heard Ben Shapiro say, Ben Shapiro said that, there's reactionaries on the right, the alt-right, because, they say, hey, we want one gay, we want one lesbian, whatever, as representatives. But that's not a reason to become an alt-right racist, a Nazi, or any of that shit. That's not a reason to do that. That's stupid. And, it's like, when you talk about the radicalization of people in the Middle East, when you say, hey, like, you kill their families with bombs, and then they want to fight the U.S., like, that makes sense in terms of, like, shit, like, you killed them, so they're gonna attack you. But in this case, it's like, bro, what are you talking about? That's just straight bigotry. That's so dumb. So, anyways, check out this clip here of Secular Talk exposing Sargon of Akkad for moving right-wing, and I think that he's been right-wing for a hot minute. He's been right-wing pretty much since ever. I'm not sure why Kyle is kind of lagging on that, but check it out here, and we're going to talk about it.
Hey, Kyle, you're my favorite lesbian. Thank you, Bailey. When will you do a live stream with Sargon of Akkad again? My favorite anime crossover. I don't know what anime, what that last part means, but Sargon and I have probably done like 4 or 5 hangouts where we talked about a lot of stuff. So you can go check those out. There's been a lot of them, some on his channel, some on my channel. For the longest time, I would have said Sargon really got a bad rap from people because a lot of people kind of tarred him as being like alt-right. And I always kind of defended him and said, no, when you talk to him, he says like he's for universal health care, he's for a living wage, he's for ending the wars and stuff. But I do think, you ask him, but I do think that in recent times he has shifted more right-wing. Like, I think he's done a lot of defending of President Trump, which I find pretty much unconscionable. And I don't know how a guy as smart as him can do that. But again, you ask him and see where he describes himself politically. But in my mind, he seemingly has shifted to the right, in the past few months or whatever. But he's still a nice guy. We've been friendly with each other all throughout. Okay, let's see.
So again, recall that Sargon of Akkad was both, he advocated for voting for Donald Trump, and he also was a supporter of Marine Le Pen in France, who was a fascist who said things like people shouldn't be able to wear their, religious garb in public and all that type of stupid shit. And her dad was a Holocaust denier, and she got into a lot of muddy waters due to that, and all of this nonsense, right? So Sargon of Akkad, again, this is just, the dude is a right-winger, and he's, it's kind of a facade, Sargon of facade, it's a joke. He is a joke. The idea that he's left-wing is just laughable, utterly laughable. And, we're on the topic of Secular Talk, so I'd say that the comments, the fake Sargon comments, are absolutely hilarious that I always see in his comment section. But again, I think Secular Talk, I think Kyle's starting to really catch on to something here, that Sargon is an apologist for the alt-right. a constant apologist, and it's just getting out of hand and ridiculous. Support independent progressive media by leaving a subscription down below, leave a like and share the video, help us out on Patreon, or you can donate in other ways. Links are in the description down below. We are fighting Trump tooth and nail, and we will continue to do so with your help.